What's happening, my moonshins? How you doing today? It's Chris here, playing some more BLoons Monkey City! We haven't played this in a really, really long time. Can we still even play this game? Well, I sure hope so, dude. I mean, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it nonetheless. I feel like most people have kind of gotten off the BLoons Monkey City bandwagon lately. That's okay. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. But it still should be hopefully fun for you guys. If this isn't fun for you guys, if you don't watch these types of videos anymore, I would like to know. I know, if you'd rather just have me do this witty banter on BLoons City battles instead, I'm kind of okay with that. So what we're going to be talking about today is something that's near and dear to my little tiny heart in here. Aliens. Yes, you heard that right. We're going to be talking about straight up aliens today. Called you guys moonshins. That's because now everybody calls, aliens Martians. But what if they're not from Mars? They're not still Martians, are they? No, then they'd be, if they were from the moon, they'd be moonshins. If they were from Earth, they'd be earthshins. Or Mercurians or something. Or maybe they could just make up random terms for whatever planet they want to. But realistically, I've noticed in the media a lot lately, they've been overdoing this alien thing, and it's kind of annoying to me, to be completely honest with you guys. They talk about aliens all the wrong frickin' way. I feel like they talk about it in turn. You know what? I'm actually going to go for my boomerang here instead, I think. This is a better 3-0 spot, I think. Yeah, we're going to go for a 2-3 here. Realistically, the highest balloon we're going to have to pop today is ceramics on this level, so boomerangs are one of the best guys ever for that, so that's what we're going to focus on. Still got my cleanup down on the bottom here with my spike factory. Honestly, I don't even think I need the banana farms, but I felt like, I got them. Why not just pop one in here for at least a few rounds. So when you think about the term aliens, everybody thinks of aliens, in terms of something that looks like a frickin' human, that's probably smarter than a human, that probably came here and, lives on Earth or is in a spaceship somewhere floating around Earth or something, or crashes into Earth or something like that. That's probably, the farthest thing from the truth, to be completely honest. First and foremost, just so you guys understand how much information I have about this, I've taken 4 astronomy classes, on top of loving astronomy, on top of reading about science and liking science, on top of watching every single episode of the Cosmos, the Universe, and every other astronomy show that you can possibly think of. I've seen it all, guys. Now, the History Channel's been going downhill for a while now, but it used to have some really quality content stuff involving, space and everything. I have watched Ancient Aliens a little bit. I have watched some of these other shows that I think are absolutely ridiculous and what's wrong with the frickin' world these days, man. Ancient Aliens, if you like Ancient Aliens, if you believe Ancient Aliens, I feel sorry for you. And it's not your fault that I should be feeling sorry for you. It's the stupid world's fault that they're going to teach you ancient alien things, and people think that that's a legit thing. That is a conspiracy theory. Aliens have not visited here in the near past, especially in the past few thousand years or whatnot. And just no. Just no, okay? I'm going to just nope right out of that thing because it just hasn't happened. You're probably going to ask me for proof and everything, but I don't want to talk about that just yet. I actually want to talk more about aliens kind of in our solar system. So the thing that we would want to see as far as life is concerned is bacteria, or bacteria-like aliens. Even if it's just microbial life, it's still alien life. It's from somewhere that's not Earth. Now, in fact, you might not even believe me, but life might not have even started on Earth. Life might have started on Mars, and that got transferred here by an asteroid. Ho-ho! Chris! Holy crap, man. So that's probably the less likely scenario, to be completely honest with you guys. But it's definitely a possible scenario of how life has started here. It still doesn't come up with a question of how life officially started, but it's still just an example of how alien life can, kind of be transferred or be weirder than you might think. But these bacteria could be just about anywhere that there is liquid water. And I say that because when you look at Earth, where do you see life? Anywhere where there's liquid frickin' water, even in a boiling chemical pits that, like, if we touched with our hands, would literally, like, burn it down to the bone and just boil our skin off and have huge chemical burns and stuff like that, just after a few seconds. If you fall on one of these things, you dead. It's as easy as that. And there's life that lives there. down at the bottom of the ocean, deepest, darkest, away from the sun. There's zero sunlight down there. Life lives there. Not just bacteria, by the way. More than that, too. But, of course, there are bacteria down there. So, pretty much anywhere where there is water, there tends to be life. There's very rarely a place that has some sort of form of water. I can't name any, but I'm just going to leave it open, that there isn't a place where there's water, but there is no life. It just makes almost no sense. Even in places like in the CDC, which are like top level 4, super crazy security measured places that like no bacteria, nothing's supposed to be in there, they sometimes find endospores of bacteria living in there. Which an endospore isn't technically a bacteria, but it could easily turn into a bacteria. So anyways, basically that's why we look for, when we look for oh crap, oh my god, that made really loud noise. Stupid Asus web storage. I don't care about your Asus web storage. It keeps popping up. I wish I could just get rid of it. So I'm going to play a mountain tile today. I feel like that would be a nice fun tile for us. Just play a regular Moab tile. Nothing too difficult, because I need to focus on my alien talks today. So when we think of alien life, obviously, like I said, we're looking for bacteria. We look for somewhere where it has liquid water. All right? Some people always ask, like, Chris, what about, you know, if it was made of something not like water? If it was made of, you know, something else, some sort of compound similar to water? What if it wasn't made of carbon? What if it was made of silicon or something instead? You know, like, why does it need to be, you know, similar to life on Earth? Well, it just makes sense, you know, with chemistry. It just makes sense. Carbon has the easiest, you know, carbon can bond to anything. All right, carbon has 4 different bonds that it can create, and it can bond to pretty much anything in these ridiculous, you know, structures. Like all of the molecules in our body are thousands of carbon molecules, or hundreds, if not thousands, of carbon molecules combined together into really intricate structures. And that's basically what life is. Like almost everything in our body is either water or something with carbon. It's just that's how life works. So we also look for things like you know, carbon-based life forms that, you know, have water. Those are like the main ingredients for life right there. And it's not that life couldn't form out of anything else. It's just the most likely scenario. Not just because it happened to us, but just based on chemistry, it's the most likely scenario for life to be like that. So anyways, we look for places that have liquid water. We look for something that's, you know, obviously carbon-based, or it's making some sort of organic compounds or something like that. And we can look in just our solar system. We don't have to go to other planets or anything like that. And that's one thing that I wanted to point out a little later on in the video, is when they talk about you know, searching for alien life, they often look at like radio telescopes and some of those more ridiculous, you know... Actually, I should go for a 2-3 boomer. I was going to go for a 3-0, but now I realize those 3 zeros are actually pretty bad these days. So let's go for a 2-3 instead. Still pretty pricey, but I think it's going to be worth it. Where was I at? So anyways, we look in our solar system for life, and the main place that people used to look was Mars. Everybody used to say, Mars, Martians, even back just like 30, 40, maybe 50 years ago, people thought, like when we were going to the moon and stuff, people thought there could be alien life on Mars, not just life like bacterial life, like intelligent alien life on Mars. They didn't know. They didn't know any better. Nowadays, we know that that's not true. There is no intelligent alien life, in our solar system. But there is possibility for bacteria, or bacteria-like organisms in our solar system. Where, you might ask? Well, Mars is still a possibility, alright? I even said in one of my science videos where I talked about alien life, that I think that we're going to find some form of alien life on Mars within the next 20 years, or at the very least, proof that there was alien life on Mars. Like definitive proof, not just like, oh, it's likely because of this and likely because of that. It's like definitive proof that bam, bam, and bam, this is what we got, guys. You know, life definitely existed here, and that's, you know, kind of cool. So that's one spot that we look, but it's actually probably not even the most likely place for life. Believe it or not, one of the most likely places for life, in my opinion, and this is sort of an opinionated thing, because we really don't know. I mean, we really haven't studied the solar system as much as we probably should. We've sent out some spacecrafts and stuff like that. We've taken some pictures and everything, but we don't really have the ability to, like, penetrate deep underneath ice and stuff like that with our vision. We really don't have, you know, any space. We don't have enough money to send out millions of spacecraft or hundreds of spacecrafts to just go crash in or land on all these planets and go around and gathering all these data. It's really difficult. Not computers can't handle the drops, and it's expensive and everything. So it just really hasn't happened yet. I do think that'll probably happen in the future. Maybe the next 50, 100 years or something like that. We're probably going to explore pretty much the entire solar system. At least I hope so. I think that space is going to be, obviously a $1 trillion industry pretty soon. It's not going to be one of those, whatever, space. It's kind of cool. Like, we're just kind of exploring kind of thing. Like, people are going to want to go to space probably within our lifetimes. I'm not joking with you guys. It's probably going to happen. We're going to finally find out that, oh man, well, the Earth isn't flat. Okay, flat earthers. Which also I have to point out really quick. I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm just jumbling all my stuff around right now. But a lot of people, what they do is they only look at things that they agree with on the internet. If you like, if you're a flat earther, you're not going to look at all the science of not flat earthing. You're going to look at all the science that involves flat earthing. And why it's true, and why it's awesome, and why everybody else is trying to conspiracy theory you. You're gonna look at stuff that you agree with. Obviously, if I'm a biologist, or if I'm perfect example, if I'm a Democrat, I'm gonna look at a lot of things that are relating to being a Democrat, and maybe everything that I agree with. I'm not gonna read articles about why, for example, abortion is like the worst thing ever and stuff like that. So people want to read and look at and watch things that they agree with. Now, I am not exactly like that. I like, obviously, looking and reading at things that I agree with. I like learning things as well, but I don't mind looking at the other side either. So actually, I just watched about a 20-minute presentation on where a guy was just answering all these different questions. It was a flat Earth convention, by the way. This guy was just answering, and people were asking all these random questions about why, the Earth is flat, and how we kind of live in a dome, and the sun is really just like not even man-made, but probably an alien-made or God-made device kind of thing. And to me, I didn't just look at it and say, okay, obviously I believe this. I looked at it with skepticism, and I look at everything with skepticism because that's a good thing. I should be a skeptic of everything. It makes you a smarter person overall. But anyways, I feel like I'm a fairly open person. I'm willing to look at other people's arguments and at least understand their point of view. It doesn't mean I have to like it, doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but I at least look at their point of view and figure out if I think it's complete and utter BS, or at least have some merit to it. Flat Earthers, I gotta tell you guys, you got no merit to your stuff. You are, no. Just no. Just stay away from that, okay? Not everybody, not the entire universe, scientists, and everybody's not lying to you. Even though you hear that a lot and you can make up an excuse for that, no, we're not. I can trust you on that. You can trust me on that. And it's funny, I kind of like Elon Musk. I think he's a really cool guy, and I think he's really trying to help out the Earth. And one of the things that they said at that convention was, I hate Elon Musk. Everything that comes out of his mouth is just a big piece of poop. And I just started laughing. I started cracking up because I thought it was just kind of hilarious. But anyways, I'm willing to look at these other things, and I'm at least willing to look at their point of view and everything. But that'll be said, also, I'm willing to look at the argument that ancient aliens might have come here, and I'm willing to look at the example, whatever they're talking about all these other random stuff. But I also have to look at it as a skeptic, okay? Always have to look at everything as a skeptic. And you know what? Everything NASA says, I'm not too skeptical of. I am a skeptic of their stuff. Then I realize that all their stuff that they say makes sense, backed up by pretty much everything else that science has said since forever, and it just generally makes sense. So, anyways, plop, kind of got us off topic there. Where is life in the solar system? Where could life be in the solar system? There's two places that I really think that life is going to be, and they're going to call them the double E's, alright? We got Europa and Enceladus. Europa is my best bet for where I think life is going to be. It's basically a planet, I believe it's around Jupiter, where it's basically just a giant ice planet. Okay, so right now, all we see is just ice. But underneath that ice, because of the tidal pull on Jupiter and Europa, basically it stretches the planet out back and forth a little bit, with how much gravity Jupiter has, and it warms up the center of the planet a little bit, which makes it have liquid water. You might be thinking, like, how the heck does it stay warm? Yeah, well, it's got liquid water because the gravity kind of contracts and expands it, so we're making friction inside of the planet, which is kind of cool. So Europa has a liquid water interior, not like all the way down. I don't think it's all the way down to the base or anything. We don't really know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's like, a planet with some water on top and then an icy exterior. I don't know exact numbers on how much ice that we think there actually is or how deep it is or anything like that, but I don't think it's all that deep. But it's likely that because it's making all this extra energy, all this frictional energy near the core, there might be a lot of geothermal energy happening, and that's how one theory on how life started on Earth is in geothermal vents with hydrogen sulfide, stuff like that, being used as a energy source. I thought that was a really interesting idea and a likely, very possible form of energy for the life on Europa. The other one is Enceladus, which is a fairly similar planet, fairly similar thing going on. I don't know as much about Enceladus because I was always a Europa kind of guy, but I do think it's kind of interesting to think about those guys. Europa and Enceladus, those guys are the most likely places for life in our solar system. People are even saying that it's possible for places like Pluto to even have life underneath the giant ice pockets. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it is a possibility, which is really, really intriguing, If we find life on places like Pluto, we know that life is going to be everywhere in the galaxy and pretty much everywhere in the universe, which is very, very fascinating. So that's like bacterial life, all right. That's hopefully I'm teaching you guys a little bit about life that's sort of similar. Life it most likely has to be sort of similar to us. It probably went through some sort of similar evolutionary lead-ons and stuff like that. And in places like Europa, don't get me wrong, I think it's probably only bacterial life, but it doesn't mean that it has to stay there. I mean, we could have very primitive life, probably not like fish or anything like that, but something like maybe hard to give an example. I can't think of the word for it either. But basically, like bacteria that kind of group together and form like a communal thing. I saw it on a couple documentaries where they're back in the day, hundreds of millions of years ago. That was like some of the first life on Earth. After they weren't bacteria anymore, they actually formed like bacterial groups, or I can't think of the word, but they looked kind of like weird, crusty groups of things that worked together, sort of, which is kind of weird to think about. But things like that could end up existing on Europa, but because very little sunlight reaches there, and because there's not liquid water on the planet itself, it's unlikely that any other life actually exists besides just very primitive bacterial-like life. So, but it's still exciting to think about anyways. Anyways, I think the main thing that people probably want to hear about, though, is what about, like, real alien life? Like, alien life that looks like or is smarter than us, or it visits us, or things along those lines. Is it possible to have in the galaxy, or in the universe, in our solar system? I'm going to say no. Alright, and that's just my opinion again. It's very, 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 very unlikely. I guess it's maybe possible somehow that, like, deep in Europa there's some sort of intelligent life. Yeah, maybe, but I really doubt it. In the galaxy, though, it's very likely, guys. It's very likely that there's some sort of life that, at the very least, it doesn't have to be as smart as humans who, understand physics and, are finally starting to understand the universe itself and how we actually got here, but maybe animal-like, animal-like life. I think it's really easy to, form some sort of animal life. It does take billions of years and all that stuff, so it's probably not the most common thing in the galaxy, but it's probably happening, quite a bit, just because we have 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone, with multiple planets and a ton of moons around each one of these planets that could also harbor life. So, is it possible? Absolutely. How close is it, though? That's the part that's sort of weird. Now, I recently saw an article where they were talking about how they sent a beam of radio waves towards a planet that's only 11 light years away from us. So, because it's 11 light years, it means it's going to take 11 years for our radio bursts to reach that planet, and then it's going to take, if they get it, if there is intelligent life there, they're obviously going to take a little while to think about how they're going to want to respond, and then they're going to try and send a radio wave burst back to us, right? So that's the thought, that's the theory. But the problem is that we would probably be able to, if they did have radio waves or something along those lines, we would most likely be able to detect said radio waves already. So it's very, very unlikely that that something like that would happen. We'd already be able to detect it, and they'd probably already have detected ours as well. We've been shooting out radio waves for the past 100 years or so. So things like that really kind of get on my nerves, because people are like, well, of course the scientists are just going to try. Just like, why not, dude? If there is something there, awesome. But then people get all hyped up like, there's probably aliens there. Scientists wouldn't send that unless they think there's going to be aliens there. And that kind of gets me a little bit, annoyed, I guess. So, no, I don't think that there's actually going to be aliens there. I don't know how close the closest, animal-like life will be. And, again, intelligence-wise, how difficult is it for not just life to evolve, and not just animal life, but life intelligent enough that it can actually start to understand the universe and build things like radio telescopes or, send out radio bursts to other areas in the galaxy. That's the part that's sort of weird. And right now, because we've only been shooting out radio waves for the past 100 years or so, there's very few planets that are actually in the range that could have picked up some of our radio waves. So, and even then, they might not even understand what the heck it is. It's probably so dim and not strong enough. The thing is, a lot of these, radio waves that we're sending out are like gigantic, humongous bursts of radio waves that, of course, can be picked up pretty easily, and we're directing them in an actual direction instead of just shooting them out in random directions all throughout the universe, So, overall, all I really wanted to say is, yes, I don't know that there's aliens here. Yes, I don't know how many there are. I don't know where they're at. I don't know how smart they are. Nobody does. But I want to point out that it's very unlikely that we're going to be just like shooting radio waves and we're going to find, a planet really, really close to us that's just like, hey, freaking super smart aliens right there. Oh, awesome. We're going to meet our closest neighbors already in, 30 years or something like that. It's not going to happen. All right? It's a nice thought, but it's really just not going to happen. Even if we did, like, send out some radio waves or something like that to actually get to a star that was 11 light years away, well, even if traveling at, obviously, 50% of the speed of light, which is near impossible to do at this point, it would take 20 years just to get there, and obviously 20 years to get back. So, what are we talking here, man? I mean, it's going to be really freaking difficult to get to one of these stars. It'll take a really, really long time. So, obviously it's intriguing, it's very interesting. Aliens are very, very fun topics overall and everything, but don't think that we're going to be finding intelligent alien life anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. Also, again, to anybody who thinks that aliens have visited here in the past and there's just a huge government conspiracy to keep it hidden or something like that, Area 51 or whatnot, don't believe it. It's not true. Aliens have not visited here. If aliens really did visit here, they would be so gosh darn smart that we would have no chance against them if we really wanted to, like, fight them or something like that. We'd have zero chance. And what they would probably do is make some sort of big entrance and introduce themselves and be like, hey, what's up? Like, we're aliens. Like, nice to meet you. It would be a big thing for them, probably. They probably don't, meet all that many, alien civilizations out there. So I think it would be a big thing for them. And obviously it would be even a huger thing for us to find out that happened. Anyways, that's aliens for you guys. I'll probably end up talking about this, in future videos as well, because it's a big topic for me, and I found it very, very interesting. Hopefully you guys did as well. A lot of it was really, really random rambling. I did not, organize this in any way, shape, or form, so maybe I'll do that in the future. But let me know what you guys thought about my stuff. If you guys think that I'm just being rude, telling you that you're completely and utterly wrong in certain circumstances, maybe I can be a little bit nicer in the future. But there's certain things that I just, know for a fact that it's just not possible or not true based on everything that I've known and lived with my entire life, and not just looking at one side of the coin, guys. I look at both sides of the coins too. I try and be fairly unbiased in my stuff, and I don't tell you guys about anything because I really do think it's very, very unbiased. So I am going to be playing a few more BLoons Monkey City videos in the near future. So if you guys are looking forward to that, again, press that like button for me. Let me know that you guys want to see this, and I'll try and make more. If this is going to be, if we're getting less than half the views of battles, and we're, people are just not really enjoying this quite as much, I might have to dwindle on the BLoons Monkey City a little bit. So let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll do my best to make it happen. Thank you guys so much, and have a super duper delicious day.